Hey everyone, it's Wednesday again, and I have been getting a request to do a video on adrenal fatigue and the supplements that I recommend for that. I can't get over how many people are struggling with fatigue right now. I don't know if it's post-COVID, well I do know, but majority because of post-COVID, I mean we're all of course tired of that, and then work stress on top of that. So a lot of people are tired, and I keep getting this common question, what can I do about my fatigue? So today I'm going to give you my top 5 supplements that I recommend. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail as to why I recommend them, what function they have in the body, so that you can start feeling energized and carry out anything that your heart desires in your day. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let's get into the adrenal glands, which is one of my favorite organs. I happen to like them all, but this one is really unique because it causes a lot of problems, and a lot of problems that kind of go under recognized. So where are the adrenal glands? So I want to give you guys a little bit of background about the adrenal glands before we get into supplements that can help them, because I want you to understand why I'm recommending these supplements. Taking supplements, for instance, they're very individual. It depends on your personal symptoms. And of course, that's why I do recommend, before taking any of these supplements, working with your healthcare practitioner, making sure that they don't interact with medications, because that does happen. Just because it's a supplement doesn't mean that it's necessarily safe for you. So while I'm showing you these recommendations, do of course, use them with caution. So the adrenal glands, if we're looking at the body, so there's the kidneys, and then on top of the kidneys, there's the adrenal glands. Now the adrenal glands kind of look like this. They're like a little house-shaped gland. So the adrenal gland has multiple layers that produce different types of hormones. So our number one is our catecholamines. So in the medulla, which is like the core of the adrenal gland, we produce our epinephrine or norepinephrine, which is adrenaline. So that's what takes us into our sympathetic or our parasympathetic mode. So you've probably heard of fight or flight. It's that chronic stress mode that keeps our eyes open and us going. That's our sympathetic nervous system. The problem with that is when our sympathetic nervous system is on overdrive, which 90% of people, okay, probably not 90, but a large majority of people function in chronic stress and chronic overdrive. And the problem with that is that you're constantly going to be stimulating the adrenal glands through your nervous system. So when that nervous system turns on, the signal goes down through the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal gland axis, to produce those hormones, to release them into the body so that we can get whatever the functions are, whether it's like circulation or alertness. There's a whole bunch of different functions, and I'm not going to go over them here. So that's the catecholamines. The other levels are, there's 3 other levels for different hormones. So we've got our glucocorticoids, we have our mineralocorticoids, and our sex hormones. Glucocorticoids are cortisol. That's all you need to know. Cortisol is our stress hormone. It's also great for inflammation when used appropriately. Mineralocorticoids, which is our aldosterone, that's our blood sugar, our blood volume balance. So it's our sodium to chloride balance and our water volume. Very important hormone. The next ones are our androgens. So those are our testosterone producers, so our sex hormones, in other words. Those are the main hormones that you need to know. And why this is important is because when the adrenal glands are under stress, you either shunt from different pathways. So if one hormone is being produced more than another, you're going to get a decrease in that hormone, or you're going to get an overproduction of hormones that cause fatigue and stress on the system. Okay, so I know you guys are anxious to hear what are my supplements for adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue. So obviously adrenal fatigue is a little bit different than chronic fatigue. I kind of look at it on a spectrum. I'm not going to get into that again here, but there are some supplements that can overlap. Chronic fatigue is obviously way more extreme than adrenal fatigue, but like I said, some of these supplements can kind of overlap. So my first supplement is a B complex. So you have to be careful when you're searching for a B vitamin. Not all B vitamins are created equally, and not all singular B vitamins are great to take. So a lot of people kind of put B vitamins into categories. There's B12, which is the most common. We see that in injectables. There's also B6. We've got B1, and we find that we know that certain Bs have different functions in the body. So we tend to isolate them for that function, which is completely fine if we are in a deficiency state. So if your blood work comes back and you are B12 deficient, then it makes sense to top up that level of B12. The problem is that people self-diagnose, and then when they go to buy a B vitamin, they look for, oh, I've heard good things about B12, I think I need to take B12, or I'm tired, so I think I need to take B12. Now, everything in the body works synergistically, and I've talked about this before. So if I go and I take B12 for a long period of time, I'm going to throw off my other B vitamins. There's more than just B12. There's B1, there's B2, B3, B4, B5. There's a whole spectrum of B vitamins. And when you take one more B vitamin of a singular type of the B vitamin, you off-put the balance of the other ones and you put stress on the system. So you want to be taking something that is a full, complete spectrum. Now, all not B vitamins are created equally in the sense that some are synthetic and some are non-synthetic. So you're going to have, for instance, in the instance of B12, you'll have cyanocobalamin, you'll have adenocobalamin, and you'll have methylcobalamin. Now, I prefer methyl. It's supposed to be the more absorbed form. Cyano is supposed to be the cheaper form. There's a little bit of conflicting research, but relative to all of that, I just prefer food-based. I find food-based is more absorbed. I find the quality of the products to be better, and I tend to kind of move away from synthetic products because, in my opinion, it puts more stress on the system, and a lot of the times they aren't absorbed. So you want a solid B complex like this one that's going to help top up those levels. And this is why it's relevant to adrenal fatigue. So when you have adrenal fatigue, you are stressed out. You're eating up all of your nutrients. So the nutrients, people don't realize this about minerals and nutrients, is that they're the foundation of every process in your body. So for enzymes to work, for basic amino acids to function and be produced, you need nutrients. There are a lot of cofactors that are B6 and B12 and, these vital nutrients for certain pathways. So when you're stressed and you're inflamed and you're using up all of these nutrients, and then you've got a bad diet on top of that, so you're not replenishing those nutrients, then you're depleting, and often nutrient deficiency is the cause of many problems. So for the instance of an overworking adrenal gland plus stress, you really need to increase those levels of B vitamins so that, number one, they're at normal levels, and number two, you can support that over need of the body for producing those functions. So number one supplement is a quality B vitamin. Okay, so my second recommendation is actually going to be electrolytes. So that's going to surprise a lot of you, but electrolytes are really, really important for supporting the adrenal glands. When you think about the production of hormones, you do need a balance of proper electrolytes. You need your salts, you need your potassium, you also need magnesium. So one of my favorite things to do is actually to make my own electrolyte blend. You can also purchase this one. It's a great electrolyte, just helps kind of balance things out. I do like my own electrolyte blend, like I said. So if you put actually a tablespoon of Himalayan pink sea salt into a glass and mix it around, and you can just kind of drink it throughout the day, that helps stabilize hormone production and helps kind of put pressure off your adrenal glands. So this was a trick that I actually learned when I was an athlete. And I was noticing that I was really energized after my workout, and I needed to be able to kind of cool down and go to sleep, and I needed to really buffer my catecholamines, which was my adrenaline. And I did that by putting a little bit of salt, or my salt electrolyte blend, into my orange juice, drinking that, and that helped me calm my nervous system and my adrenaline down so that I could sleep. So that's my number two. Make sure that you have a quality electrolyte. Make sure that you have a balance of salt, potassium, and magnesium. All right, number three. So you guys are probably wondering why I haven't done adaptogens yet. And honestly, I just don't think they're as important as people think they are. I think minerals are way, way more important, which is why I put a primary focus on them. So my number three is actually zinc. So zinc is really important for immune function. It has over like 200 different functionalities in the body. It's one of the most important minerals, and most of us are actually quite deficient in it. So if you actually have white spots on your fingernails, so if you look at your fingernails and you have little white spots, that can sometimes be an indication that you are lower in zinc. Zinc is, like I said, so important. Now, the quality of your zinc is going to matter. So zinc can come in citrate, it can come in picolate, it can come in, there's another form, I believe bisglycinate. My favorite is ionic zinc. So it's a different form. It's not a conjugation form. It's actually in its ionic version. And I find that zinc is more absorbed into the bloodstream and has a quicker action time than the other synthetics. So I do, of course, prefer a food-based if possible, but this is one of my favorite non-food-based zinc supplements that I do recommend for adrenal fatigue. All right, kudos to you if you've made it to this far into the video. We're at number 4, almost done, so stick with me. My next one is glutathione. Now this is one that is a little bit longer acting. You're not going to notice the effects of glutathione right away. Now if you do have access to intravenous glutathione, it's going to be optimal compared to capsule. I really am not a fan of capsule. There's a lot of evidence in the literature that it's not even absorbed if it's in capsule form. The next form is the sublingual. It's supposed to be the better. I like the liposomal. It's the fat-based soluble glutathione that comes in a liquid. If I'm going to do one, I will be doing this one. But like I said, my preference is to intravenous glutathione. Now, why I love glutathione for adrenal fatigue is it helps kind of reduce inflammation. It also pushes out the toxins. It helps support the liver. So when you're looking at adrenal function, you can't just look at the adrenal gland. You have to look at the liver. You also have to look at the nervous system. You have to look at the thyroid, and you also have to look at the immune system. They're all connected, and separating them really doesn't make sense. You do need to look at them kind of multi-layered. So if there's stress on the thyroid, there's gonna be stress on the adrenal glands. If there's stress on the liver, there's gonna be stress on the adrenal glands. So the adrenal glands get hit anytime a system kind of goes under. So with glutathione, it's one of the most powerful antioxidants in the body. Antioxidants are really important for free radical damage. Free radical damage is inflammation. It's when things start to get stressed. It's the primary cause of aging, and it can put a lot of pressure on the adrenal glands if there's free radicals. So glutathione can help us buffer the free radicals and get any toxins out of the body. So that is why it is number 4 for supporting the system, supporting the nervous system, reducing inflammation in adrenal fatigue. All right, here is number 5. Now, number 5 is a little bit unconventional, but still very, very important. I'm gonna go with an adrenal glandular. There are some supplements on the market that actually have adrenal glandulars in them. You do have to be careful with the stimulation of adrenal glandulars. People who are in like the bottom of burnout, like they're just really in bad shape, their adrenal glands aren't doing so well. Sometimes adrenal glandulars can be overstimulating. It can cause nausea, it can cause a little bit of GI upset. So I do kind of work with the person and look at what is going on specifically for them. This is my favorite adrenal glandular. I love homeopathic preparations. I've seen amazing results with them. The idea behind a glandular is you're giving a little bit of whatever it is to kind of re-stimulate formulation. So what I'm trying to do with a glandular is I'm taking the adrenal glands and I'm trying to rebuild the tissue healthy. Like I'm trying to re-stimulate the adrenal glands so that it's healthy again. I want the tissue to be healthy. I want to remind the cells what they're supposed to be doing. And that's the premise behind a glandular. Now, some people are going to think it's probably weird. To each his own. I'm a huge fan. I've had great results with glandulars. I use them for thyroid. I use them for whatever I'm specifically targeting. And I've seen great results with them. So this is my glandular, and that is my top 5 supplements for adrenal fatigue. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I would love to know if it was helpful, if it was useful. Like, am I giving you content that you love? Like, I know a lot of you asked me for this video, so I'm really hoping that this is, you know, what you were looking for. I would love to hear in the comments, like, are you dealing with adrenal fatigue? What has been your journey through it? Like, have you used adaptogens? What was your experience with adaptogens? Write in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. You know, it's something for me to show up and to deliver these videos to you, but I also want to communicate with you. I want to build this community, and I want to really help you on your journey in feeling better. That's my purpose. That's why I'm here. So share with me if you love this video, if you love my content. Don't forget to subscribe. You'll see notifications for upcoming videos. I'm on Instagram, as I said already, at Endocrine Geek. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said, I'm working on finishing up my website, so that's going to be done shortly. And I've been putting together all of these handouts for you guys so that you have some free downloads and things that I would do for healing things like histamine and eczema. So I'm hitting some really hot topics with those free handouts. So those are going to be available for you guys too. All right, guys, I will see you next Wednesday. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of the Endocrine Geek. And as always, love and light.